afternoon by Arizona State head coach Natasha Adair and student athletes Sydney Erikstrup and Jaddan Simmons. Coach, if you'd like to start us off with an opening statement, then we'll open it up to questions.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Like you said, my name is Natasha Adair, and I will tell you it has been an amazing 7 months. I did survive the summer, for all of you all who want to know that. But most importantly, you know, today is special because it's an opportunity for you all to hear from me about these wonderful young ladies, but also to learn more about me as a coach and our vision for our program. We were fortunate to come in, and there were players that are here that chose to stay. And, you know, listening to their why and what they want out of this opportunity, that is what energizes me every day. But we hit the ground running, and we had to sign 7 new players. And so right now, it is building a culture. When you think of our team, you're going to see a team that plays together, but we're going to be defensive focused. We're going to defend, we're going to rebound, we're going to run and score. And just having an opportunity night in and night out to compete in the Conference of Champions, especially at this point in my career, it's a dream come true. So I am just excited to get started and answer any questions that you all may have about me, about our players and our program.
Just a reminder, please state your name and affiliation at the top. We'll start with Joan and then Cindy.
Joan Bonvicini, Pac-12 Network. So I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet. So look forward, because I'll be calling a number of your games.
Yes.
So you said, you know, like how you'll answer anything. So there you go. We opened it up. Okay. So what are your expectations for this year, or how you plan to build this program? And then I have a question for the players.
Wonderful. Expectations are always to win. I'm a competitor. So when that ball gets tipped, we want to make sure we're the most competitive team, prepared team, and we want to be in sync. But obviously right now, it's building that culture. It's making sure that we have really good chemistry on the court, that they learn me as a coach and understand terminologies, all these different things that when there's change. But the beauty of it is we talk all the time. And as a player, I want them to be able to come to me, and as a coach, I have to be a really good listener. So I have to meet them where they are and coach them to their why, meaning bringing them along. But at the end of the day, it's to be relentless on the court, is to make sure we're the most prepared team and that we put a product on the court. Not only is ASU going to be proud, but we want the conference to be proud as well. But it's to compete to win.
Compete to win. So for the 2 players, you know, a lot of changes from obviously coaching staff, but within your team. How is it different, and what are your expectations and adjustments so far?
I mean, yeah, our expectations are to win, but we know that it's going to take hard work, time, so just trusting the process. Like, obviously, Coach said we have like 7 new players coming in, so it's going to take time to build that, but I think just meeting the players over these last couple months, I think it's going to be not easy, but doable.
I think especially too, like team bonding wise, it's been really big for us. You know, I mean, we went to the pumpkin patch like a few weeks ago. We've done escape rooms, you know, many different things that just gets us all out of our comfort zones. I mean, we all have such different personalities, but I think that's what makes us all so special as a team.
Cindy Brunson, Pac-12 Networks. Yeah. Coach Adair and I have had a chance to break bread, and I've gotten to know you just a little bit. I want you to tell the room about the drill you run to get up and down the floor within 4 seconds, because this Arizona State team is not going to take the air out of the basketball.
No chance, and they're laughing. It is cycles. It is a drill that works on our transition, and we run a numbered break. But you're right, there's no air with that. We have 30 seconds, 32 seconds, and each player has an opportunity to score. They have to get the ball over half court within 3 seconds. So that means you have to rebound that ball out. We got to find J Smooth, as we call her, our point guard. And but we're doing that to also build a pace. We want to play at a tempo that's uncomfortable to guard. And in all that we do in preparing for that, that's one of just many drills that we work on daily in practice, to where it will be muscle memory. It will be second nature for them once we get that rebound. But the first thing in order for us to run is we got to play defense and we got to get a stop. And then we will be rewarded in transition with our defensive efforts.
Love that. J Smooth
J
for
Smooth.
you. That's SMOOV, as in victory. What did you work on over the summer to improve your game?
I just started with behind the arc, like 3-point shooting. And I mean, that was my biggest struggle, obviously the last 2 years, but I think this year we've just done a good job of getting me comfortable enough with shooting it fast, because I think that was the biggest thing. So that, and just still working on always getting my teammates open and seeing the floor better. I think that's also going to be a big key in this upcoming season.
Sid, same question for you. What did
For
you
me
do?
personally, I mean, obviously I've always loved the 3-ball, but I think especially this off season, we've really worked on creating opportunities for me to be a 3-level scorer, you know, like driving, doing, I mean, I'm so long, you know, really trying to utilize my length because my wingspan is quite
She is long. She is long.
We're going to have a couple questions over here from Alex and Matt.
Hi, Alex Simon from Bay Area News Group. Coach, when you come to this program and you're hired by Ray Anderson, just how have you felt so far that the administrative support that you're getting from Arizona State has been through what's a bit of a tumultuous time in Tempe right now?
Well, right now, they have been super supportive in all that we're doing. I mean, just Ray was in practice the other day, and so are all of the other administrators. But right now, I just focus on the players. I think that's right now is where my energy needs to be, what the focus is, because like, again, we're new and we're building a culture, but there's not an administrator that I can't pick up the phone and call or text if I need them. And I think that was part of me making this decision, is making sure I would have that support staff from the top down.
Coach, Matthew Walter from The Next. You talked about some of those new players that you had to bring in. You bring in 5 transfers. Just talk about what they bring to the team, specifically Treasure and Ty and Lauren. You know, some Ty obviously you have a relationship with, but the other 2 Power 5 transfers, kids that can come in and help you right away with this brand new team.
Well, I think when you talk about Ty, and you'll learn her, she's Showtime, right? She might be a little tiny, but she's a firecracker and she's fearless. But where I think is the benefit is that, yes, she did play for me. And she won a championship with me. But she's coming into a program, and there's no individual person that's higher or bigger than the team. And I think for her, it's also being that person in the locker room that can help answer questions to the current players that may not know me, and they may have not played for me as of yet. But just really working on her leadership. But what she's going to bring is just a fearlessness. She's the ultimate competitor. When you talk of Treasure Hunt, I mean, she's a national name, you know, top 5 player in the country coming out of high school. Another champion, you know, she won a championship at her previous institution. But again, she's coming in to a team and a culture that we're building. And we're not just building it with Ty or Treasure or Kayla or players that we brought in. We're building it together. And so Sid touched on just a lot of the team bonding, the community outreach. I think it's more about identifying roles. And as we put this piece, the pieces of the puzzle together and we're building the culture, just know that they are integral pieces to what we already have.
We're going to go to Kevin over here, then Morris, and then Michelle back on the right.
Kevin Dana, Pac-12 Networks. Coach, welcome to the conference. When you took over at Delaware, you took over for a coach who'd been there for 21 years,
Yes.
and Tina Martin was the winningest coach in program history. Now
Correct.
you're taking over for another legendary head coach in Charlie Turner-Thorne. I was just curious, how much did that experience at Delaware kind of help you with this, and kind of also taking over for an institution at a
Right.
program?
Well, I think it even started before then at College of Charleston with Nancy Wilson, who was there 20 plus years as well. I think you learn, you know, along the journey, you understand coming into a program with rich history. You understand what was done before you, but you aren't intimidated by that if you're a competitor. Right, you use that as fuel and you use that as motivation, but you also talk to the people within the program, talk to the alum, talk to the donors, talk to the community, because you still want them to be very proud of your product, but you also want them to know that they're not losing that connection with the program and with the university with change. But what did that teach me? It teaches me that I can do it because I've done it before.
Over here, Morris on the left.
Yeah, Coach, did my research on you. This is your 11th season as a Division I coach. You're one of 11 of 12 Pac-12 coaches that have had one NCAA appearance. and you obviously coached Jasmine Dickey last year, who played in the WNBA, was drafted in the 3rd round. I'm just curious, how do you think you fit within this mosaic of Pac-12 coaches? How familiar are you with the other 11 coaches? Have you competed against them? And where do you stack up?
I think I'm very prepared, first and foremost. Am I familiar with them? I actually won with Corey Close. We shared a sideline a couple of years in a row with USA Basketball, where we won 2 gold medals. But it's more about just the preparation, if you will, and just being one of, 12 elite coaches here in the conference. But I just think a 25-year career, obviously you said 11 years, but along that journey you learn. And there is not a team that we won't be prepared to compete against. There's not a stage that we won't be prepared to be on. And so to be on this stage, a Conference of Championships stage with elite coaches, I'm absolutely ready.
All right, Coach, one other thing. Your introduction day, you wore black leather pants in Tempe. Did they survive the summer or not?
Actually, I did not wear that day. That was a picture that they previously used.
Okay,
Yes.
All right. We got it cleared up. Thank
Okay.
you.
Michelle in the front right.
Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. First of all, I want to say there's not a better name than Treasure Hunt. Okay, that's just awesome. But anyway, wanted to ask the young ladies, you guys decided to stay when some of your teammates didn't. So can you talk about what made you stay, and just talking to Coach Adair for the first time and what your impressions of her were? And also, Coach, your first impressions of the players.
I mean, yeah, I think, obviously when change happens, it's always an uncomfortable situation. But I mean, Coach A was really open and welcoming to all of us. We all had one-on-one meetings with her where she sat down and asked us what our why was, what we wanted to do in the future, just anything about us as a person, And I think I just really hit it off with her personally from our meeting. And I mean, our energy is very much the same. So we got along just fine. And yeah, so I thought it was going to be a good fit. And the family culture, too. I mean, she's huge on family, and I could really see that within the staff and everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like Sid said, change. I mean, I'm used to it, but I moved a lot growing up, but just being able to adapt to it. And then when I first met them, obviously I didn't know what I wanted to do, but after a couple workouts and, meeting with her one-on-one, I knew it. I had to stay, give this a chance, and see what was going to happen. And I am glad that I stayed, and I know that this team is going to be something special.
Well, my first impression of both of them, I'll start with Jay Smooth here. But I think it's organic, and I think we use those words. For me, I'm a really good listener, and I coach from a maternal instinct. And if I know their why and what's important to them, there is not anything that I won't do to make sure Jaddan and Sid and every other member on this team achieves their goal. So I think just as a leader, I have to be that example for them. I know they're winners, right? Individually, we talk about just how they're going to grow as a player. But just more importantly for me and for my staff, it's the holistic approach to coaching. And I think it's recognizing that they're people first, and just making sure that they continue to grow, and making sure their families, their supporters, everyone that sees them and has a hand in their development are proud of who they become as women.
Michelle over here on the left.
Hi, Michelle, Pac-12.com. For the players, this is going to be a program in transition this year. How much do you all feel like you're going to have to prove to the rest of the conference about how quickly that transition can happen, and how quickly you all can get back into the thick of this Pac-12 race?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we were ranked last in the Pac-12, so we have a lot to prove. And I just think that's what we do. We've always been the underdog. It's always better to be the underdog, show people what you can do and prove them wrong. And this team can definitely do that. Obviously, we're going to come together even more over time. And I think it starts with, like she said, defend, rebound, run, score. That's what we're going to do. And I know we're going to show the Pac-12.
Yeah, kind of just going off that, I think, it doesn't matter where, we were talking about it earlier, it does not matter where you start, it's where you finish. And I think that's going to be a big thing for our team this year.
Well, and if I can just jump in on that one, we want to be our best team, right, heading into March. And so you're not your best team today, and we know that, but we're building towards that. And again, it's the day-to-day grind of what these young women are doing in the classroom and on the court and in the community. And so we don't really talk about where they're picking us. Again, no one has any basis on who we are and what we will do, but we will not be there at the end of the season.
Got time for one more? Cheryl?
Cheryl Coward, hoopfeed.com. Welcome to the Pac-12.
Thank you.
It's no surprise given your track record of building up teams that you're here in the Pac-12 at Arizona State. But what were your impressions coming into the league and, compared to where you were before? And also, did Corey Close have anything to do with you being here and helping you, choose Arizona State? Because I'm sure you were recruited by other schools.
Yes. Corey did not have any influence, but I do know what she talks about the league and how proud she is of the league and just the relationships that she's formed with a lot of the colleagues within the league. So again, to know how elite the conference is, absolutely, that was a huge draw. But at the end of the day, I just look at the opportunity in front of me. And you don't know me yet, but you will. There's no opportunity that's too big. I wanted to be here at this moment with these young women to continue to grow and get us back to national prominence and stay there. And everything that's in front of me to do so, we have every component, recipe, ingredient, and support to get it done.